But let's get one thing straight, and I'm guilty of it too. The one thing we're not talking about is the people who died, because we have no humanity left. As soon as something happens, immediately it's left, right, this, immigration, capitalism, yada, yada, yada. Who gives a and go dog.
Comedian, actor, and author Corey Ryan Forrester is saying exactly what so many people across the country are thinking right now.
Folks, we're living in a RoboCop movie. For the love of God, before detectives are on the scene and before anything is investigated, could the leaders of the free world refrain from making decisive comments about that will rile their base up? Can we at least have that? I know we can't have health care, but could we have a little bit of couth in these situations? Probably not.
This is a brilliant description of how right-wing politics work in practice. Instead of appealing to the strength of the system and institutional norms like liberals and the Dem Party establishment do, conservatives appeal to fear of the unknown, exploiting our country's history of racism and bigotry to spread their ideology further.
Immediately, the dude who drove into the crowd in New Orleans was an illegal immigrant, per the people on Trump's team. Immediately, without knowing, boom, it's an illegal immigrant, right? Which turns out, oh my God, it took 2 seconds of digging to realize that that's not true. I don't understand why you have to add that extra layer to a person. It's almost like, well, there's surely someone born in America couldn't do something so. We do it all the time. Why would it have to be a illegal immigrant just because someone's brown? Like, there's brown people all over the place. The fact that you're saying it immediately informs your base that brown or not white means illegal, and you know what you're doing.
That's the whole game right there. Though you'll never hear a Republican official say that out loud, that's exactly what the goal of spreading misinformation like this is. It's all to drum up fear, distrust, and hostility toward whichever group is being targeted at a given moment. And in the case of the recent terror attack in New Orleans, immigrants, Muslims, and by extension, anyone who isn't white are the targets of MAGA's latest misinformation campaign.
You say, hey, this guy was probably an illegal immigrant. You put that in people's heads. Then later that night, they go to a club. They see a Mexican guy. They look at him cross. They say something like, are you here legally? Then maybe the Mexican punches them, and the narrative is, see, this is what happens. Mexicans are violent, and you want that to happen.
And they want things like what Forster's talking about to happen because it not only justifies their preconceived bigotry and stereotypes, but it also justifies any violent act under the guise of retaliation when provoking a reaction was the goal all along. Shout out to Corey for seeing through the spin routine coming out of the right wing, where Fox News and the clown show, that is the Republican Party, are leading the charge in sowing discord as usual.
When I said that the criminals coming in are far worse than the criminals we have in our country, that statement was constantly refuted by Democrats and the fake news media, but it turned out to be true. The crime rate in our country is at a level that nobody has ever seen before. Our hearts are with all the innocent victims and their loved ones, including the brave officers of the New Orleans Police Department. The Trump administration will fully support the city of New Orleans as they investigate and recover from this act of pure evil. Now, the former president said criminals coming in a statement, meaning into our country. But to be clear, Molly and Brian, the suspect was born in the United States. He served in the United States Army. He was a veteran.
When Fox News has to issue a live fact check on something, Trump said, you know, it has to be something so bad that the executives are worried about another lawsuit.
Let me say something else that's obvious, and I don't know if enough attention is being paid to this, but we all know that for the last 4 years, the Biden administration has been completely derelict in its duty. The congressional Republicans, we here in the House and the Senate, have repeatedly asked the DHS under the Biden administration about the correlation, the obvious concern about terrorism and the wide open border. The idea that dangerous people were coming here in droves and setting up potentially terrorist cells around the country. We have been ringing the alarms. This is a big concern. They told us, Lawrence, for 4 years that the #1 threat was so-called racially motivated extremism. It was nonsense. This is the thing that we were all concerned about. This is why we raised the alarms. This is why we passed H.R. 2, the strongest border security act ever passed by Congress. And Chuck Schumer and the Democrats in the Senate would not put that through and make it into law. The Biden administration has a lot to account for here, and we see now in glaring view of everybody that this dereliction of duty has real consequences. It's a concern, and it will be an ongoing concern for some time.
Mike Johnson, who may very well lose the speakership soon and monitors his son's porn activity, couldn't pass up on an opportunity to spread white nativist hysteria to the gullible Fox News audience, continuing to double down long after the attacker's identity was known.
They tried to convince us that the greatest threat to the homeland was racially motivated extremism, when we all looked at the wide open border and thought logically that that might lead to terrorist attacks in the future. We need a dramatic change, and this emphasizes once again why this election was so important to the country. And we cannot get President Trump here soon enough. 18 days away from his inauguration and his cabinet coming in. And we need all of these people that he's chosen, who are law and order types, who will get control of these agencies, including the FBI and the DOJ, to get to work immediately. It can't happen soon enough.
Johnson can't wait to see this monster in action.
This country's in grave danger. We need to secure that border. And despite what's happened the last 2 days in Las Vegas and in New Orleans, this administration is not stopping. They're still releasing thousands of people every week through the CBP-1 app, the CHMV program, and Border Patrol continues to release people in this country without proper vetting. This is not a good thing, and I can't wait for the new administration to take power and secure this border and protect our national security. This is a gut feeling. I've done this for 3.5 decades. I just think there's too many similarities, too much coincidence. I think something down the road they're going to show there's some sort of connection, whether it's they got whether it's some same network or where they got the tools to pull these terrorist attacks off. I just feel like there's going to be something down the road. And I could be wrong. It's just a gut feeling I have.
Relying solely on circumstantial evidence, Tom Homan, blinded by his hatred towards immigrants, consciously decided to add more fuel to the fire, no pun intended, by suggesting he thinks there's a shadowy terror cell at work, and because he has the appearance of authority and legitimacy in the eyes of Fox viewers, they may not think his theory is as far-fetched as it seems. While the New Orleans attack and the Cybertruck explosion at Trump Tower in Vegas may be connected, there simply isn't enough concrete evidence yet to suggest they are. And floating theories like this is incredibly irresponsible in the least and intentionally harmful at its worst.
Under Biden, I call him Biden because I think he's Obama's third term, 55,000 special interest aliens have come across our border. That's from countries who hate us: Iran, Iraq, Syria, Yemen. You can go right down the list. And yet they're coming into this country free. They've been handled at the border. Now, Cheryl, if only 10% got through that we didn't know about of 55,000, that's 5,500 special terrorists, potential terrorists that are in this country.
The priority of the last 4 years has been DEI, if you will, not IEDs. And that's the truth. You talk to anyone who's willing to speak within these agencies, that's what their focus has been, not on this level of high-level preparation. I mean, let's face it, Director Wray raided the former president's home. The amount of time and energy and intelligence and funding had to go into something as useless as that, when meanwhile he testifies that we've never had a higher terrorist level due to the open border and these others getting radicalized. Look, there were flags on these guys. I mean, I'm hearing now that they may have actually known each other and been radicalized together. Now, that's unconfirmed, but it's possible.
Republican reps Randy Weber and Dan Muser hit some of the classic dog whistles we've been constantly hearing throughout the Biden years to continue stoking fear about immigrants.
Former U.S. Attorney Andy McCarthy writes, "This is the latest example of the FBI's, quote, habitual woke incoherence."
You're dealing with a very degraded border security situation in which the incumbent administration has irresponsibly let really millions of people into the country who haven't been vetted. That can only contribute to instability, and to the extent that we have a problem with jihadist ideology and that kind of radicalization, that can only make the problem much worse.
Just so we're 100% clear, the independent, nonpartisan Government Accountability Office's report on domestic terror incidents from 2010 to 2021 found that out of all domestic terror attacks, nearly 27% of them, or a total of 62 incidents, were committed by white supremacist extremists, according to a comprehensive unreleased study from the University of Maryland START research program sent by researcher Michael Jensen to Nick Terse of The Intercept, found that the number of people who committed extremist crimes with a U.S. military background sharply increased from an average of 7 people per year from 1990 to 2010 to almost 45 people per year since 2011. While former military members are no less susceptible to radicalization than the public, they are more likely to follow through with their plans to commit mass acts of violence and thus pose a much greater threat to public safety than other potential extremists. Jensen and his colleagues also made the disturbing conclusion that U.S. military service is a far more reliable predictor for someone becoming a mass casualty offender than mental health issues, a previous criminal history, or being a lone wolf attacker. But instead of investigating why our former service members are being driven into the throes of extremism and following through with their violent plans, Republicans would rather focus on the bigoted lie that immigrants are coming into our country and radicalizing American citizens to commit terror attacks. May the identified victims as of this recording and all of the other victims rest in peace. And we extend our deepest condolences to their loved ones. And hey, just a quick break in the action. You should go subscribe to my new show, The Rick Strom Show. I'm going to be interviewing people from sports, music, journalists, authors, sports doctors. It's going to be fantastic. Please go subscribe. Thank you. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports, and or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.